Hello, everyone, and welcome to the episode 8 of What Does This Button Do? An educational show about smartphones and tablets with the Geeks on Tour. Okay,
And
Chris.
hi everybody. We are coming to you from Redmond, Oregon. We've been at a big RV rally here all week. We're just parked in a fairgrounds on the grass, and they've been providing our electricity with generators, and they turned the generators off about an hour before showtime. So we're back on our RV's generator just like we have been for the last couple weeks. We're getting to be used to this. So, and we have a guest with us today, and her name is Robin, and I want to let her tell you why she's here and where she's coming from.
Um, Thanks, Chris. I'm Robin Seaver. I'm not entirely sure why I'm here, but I'm here from Bluffton, South Carolina. I met Jim and Chris when they were here giving us a couple of our 2,500 member computer club some computer instruction on, I think we've done maps, and I know we've done smartphones and tablets. And Chris and Jim invited me to join, kind of to watch the comments. So that's why I'm here.
Okay, and we appreciate that. Yes. So you have a big computer club there at Sun City in South Carolina, and what classes have been most popular lately?
Most of what we do are tablet classes recently.
Really?
That and a lot of iOS and Google stuff.
Google stuff, yep.
Googly stuff.
Yeah.
You've been doing some very nice notes on the Google Plus photos, and I've been having quite a good time with those too. The Auto Awesome GIFs and movies, stories.
Okay.
So
Well, if anybody
some great stuff.
If anybody is lucky enough to live at the Sun City in Bluffton, South Carolina, they got great resources for learning computers in that computer club. And we hope to see you again sometime within the next year.
Okay.
Please, anytime you're in the
Well,
neighborhood.
thanks, Robin, for being here with us, and we really appreciate it. So, I'm Jim, and together with my wife, Chris, we are the Geeks on Tour. We're the Geeks Who Teach. And do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? Do you have questions about your Android or iPad tablet? How do you learn about these amazing devices? We think the best way to learn about anything is to teach it to others. So we are into lifelong learning and helping others use this technology along the way. Okay, our website, geeksontour.com, includes several hundred tutorial videos on all the subjects that we teach. All right. Chris?
And we've been teaching a lot this week. At this rally, we taught 10 different classes in a period of 3 days. So we learned a lot. And we might be passing some of those on. You want to show them a couple pictures?
Yeah, let me get that going for you.
So most of our classes here were just demonstration. Though this is an aerial photo of the rally. All these little white roofs are RVs, and I think I figured out that's us, like right. Oh, you can't see my mouse, can you?
We're right back here.
Yeah.
And right behind the swine barn.
Okay.
So this is one of our classes that we did. And not sure which one of this was, but
well, looks like it had something to do with smartphones, because you have a smartphone there on the table being projected using the camera.
Oh, it was crazy. And we had a special small class, hands-on, for smartphone photography. So if we're ever in your area and you'd like to do one of these, that would be a lot of fun. But there we are. This is our 10-year anniversary of Geeks on Tour at the FMCA. It was 10 years ago that we started doing seminars for the Family Motor Coach Association, and it was right here in Redmond.
All right, so you ready for our beginner's lesson?
Go right ahead.
Today, what we're going to talk about and what I'm going to show you about is connecting to Wi-Fi using your smartphone or tablet. So let me just switch over to my other device here. And
All right.
okay.
There we go. I can see your iPad. You can probably move it up just a tad. That looks good.
So as we've been doing, every week we'll start our beginner's lesson using the iPad. So with Wi-Fi, first of all, what am I talking about? This device is connected. I need to clear off my notifications first. You should see in the upper left-hand corner, this device, just like an iPhone, does have a AT&T connection. So this is online right now, but what if, number one, I don't want to pay for that AT&T? How could I connect to a Wi-Fi network instead? Or the second reason is, what if there is no AT&T nearby? How do I get online? Well, it's in the settings, and it's real easy on this Wi-Fi, and you just turn it on. So it goes green, and as soon as you turn it on, you will then see a list of possible Wi-Fi hotspots, and you choose the one you want. So what is that? What do you think Mrs. Geek is, Jim?
I think that's your hotspot.
Chris?
Yes?
Let me jump in here just a minute. I lost you on my iPad.
Okay.
Do you see others?
I've seen a couple of comments. Mary Kilger says you disappeared.
There we go. Look at all of those.
Somebody is saying that I disappeared, Jim.
I don't.
There.
I think it's just the picture went off for a minute.
Okay, yeah. If you see my avatar coming up and then the iPad blinking in and out, it must mean that my internet connection isn't that great.
And
I think
that's
I see
not
what you're
unusual in our situation. It happens all the time.
But I'm going to try to just keep on going here. And if everybody is commenting that they don't see us, then we might need to regroup. But okay, can somebody write a comment if they are seeing the iPad? Okay, I would appreciate that.
I have somebody saying 11 minutes ago that they're still waiting. And
they might have to click the triangle, the play button again.
And I'm doing that on my iPad, and nothing's happening.
Okay. Well, and I'm not getting any comments from anybody saying that they are seeing it.
Well, let's keep going. This is being recorded, and we'll have it on later on if it goes off the air.
Okay.
It says we're live, so I believe it's being recorded.
Okay. So I am going to choose Mrs. Geek. Mrs. Geek is actually my other device being used as a hotspot. So, and I know that it's working pretty good. I tap on Mrs. Geek. This other one, Mia Dart or Net, it has a little lock. I don't know who that is, and it has a lock. Internet in Motion does not have a lock. So meaning I could connect to it, but I don't know who that is. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to connect to it if I don't know who it is. So once you have connected to Wi-Fi, you should see that there is a little radio waves icon right next to the AT&T icon. That means that I am connected to Wi-Fi. So here's my question to you. If I see both go away notifications. Don't know who that is, and it has a lock. Internet in Motion does.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. If you have both an AT&T connection and a Wi-Fi, which one is the device using? This is just to make you think for a minute. I will give you the answer. It is using the Wi-Fi. If Wi-Fi is on, it will not use the cellular. At least that's the way it's supposed to work, because why are you using Wi-Fi? You're probably using Wi-Fi because you don't want to use the cellular. You don't want to be paying for the cellular. If you have any doubts that that is working correctly, you might want to just turn off the cellular so there is no question. And the way you do that is in cellular data and turn off. Now, on an iPad anyway, you will see that there is no AT&T at all. On an iPhone, you still have to have it for voice, but if you turn off the data, then there's no question but that you are using whatever Wi-Fi you're on. But don't forget to turn it back on.
That's really important to turn it back on.
We've done that before. We've turned off the cellular because we were in a Wi-Fi, and then later we're not in a Wi-Fi, and it wasn't working. Why not? Because our cellular data was off. Okay. Now, here's another question. How do you know for sure that you're online? I mean, I see that little icon, but sometimes I just don't believe it. Or I might be connected to the hotspot, but maybe it's not a good hotspot. Maybe that hotspot doesn't have a good internet connection. The only way to know for absolute sure is to open a web browser and try to go to a website. So I'm going to open up Safari. And something is already cached in there. So to be a good test, you have to go somewhere that you haven't been recently. So I'm going to pick an easy one and type, I'm still connected to my Bluetooth keyboard, so I need to turn my Bluetooth off so that I get the on-screen keyboard. There we go. It's always something. MSN.com. That's something I can spell. So msn.com and go. And if it gets there, now I am confident that I am on the internet. And since I have Wi-Fi, I'm pretty confident that I'm using the Wi-Fi and not my cellular. So that's the iPad. Now I'm going to switch over to Android. And it's the same idea, just in a slightly different place. So I turn on my Android and do my password.
Everybody get that password? That's important to see.
Yeah. So this one has a Verizon 4G, and there is the indicator right there that it says 4G. Now I go to Settings by dragging down from the top and tapping the little gear, and I go to Wi-Fi. And you would turn on Wi-Fi. Now, I have a bit of an issue here because, remember from earlier, this device is providing my internet to the computers. It is being a Wi-Fi hotspot. It is sending internet out. So this is telling me if I turn on Wi-Fi to connect to another hotspot, it's going to have to turn my hotspot off. Well, if I do that, I'm going to drop off of this call. So I'm not going to do that. But I will show you on another device. And because this is my old phone, what do you do with your old phones? You know, I hope you don't throw them away. Donating them would be a good idea, but they are perfectly good. Just because they are not your phone anymore doesn't mean that they can't be an internet connect. They can't have an internet connection and get your email and do Skype and be a camera. So this one, because it's my old phone, has no 3G, 4G, no nothing, no data connection. But it still has the ability to connect to Wi-Fi. So I turn Wi-Fi on, and then I can tap on Wi-Fi and see the different options. And since this one has connected to Mrs. Geek before, it automatically connected to Mrs. Geek now. So let's see. How do I know that this device is on the internet?
Go to a website.
Yeah. So on here, my web browser is right there. So I go to a web browser. It looks like I'm on the internet. There's the little Wi-Fi waves. Now, the reason that this is my old phone is that it got really slow.
Okay.
Okay, I see a question. And this is a perfect question for exactly what I'm doing right here. My iPad doesn't have cellular under settings. Are you showing that to the
Yes.
group, Jim? Okay. But my iPhone does. Is that because my iPad is neither Verizon or AT&T? Exactly. Yes, see, my iPad, I do have a Verizon contract with the iPad, so it's kind of like a phone in that regard. You may or may not. So if you do not see a cellular setting in your iPad, it is not cellular capable, and you have to go into Wi-Fi, just like with my old phone. My old phone is not cellular capable because it's my old phone. I've canceled the contract for it. But it can still connect to Wi-Fi, and it can still go to the internet, or it can use an app like Pandora and be a music player, but it is just painfully slow. So I think I'm going to stop now because this phone just isn't going anywhere. But I think you've gotten the idea. So the points are you can put your phone onto cellular or to Wi-Fi, and though there are quick settings too. Okay, I'm going to close whatever. So let me show you a couple things back on my working phone. And that is, there are quick settings. So what if you always connect to the same Wi-Fi hotspot? You know, you want to connect to your Wi-Fi hotspot when you're at home because you don't want to pay for your cellular data. All you would then have to do is just turn on or off Wi-Fi. There are quick settings right there. You would just turn on Wi-Fi. It would automatically connect to whatever Wi-Fi hotspot is its primary Wi-Fi hotspot. When you leave the house, you would just go to these quick settings and turn them off. And I forgot to show you that on the iPad. iPad has quick settings as well. I believe it's called the Control Center. And for those, you drag up from the bottom. So drag up from the bottom, and you see a Wi-Fi on and Wi-Fi off quick setting. So that is your beginner's lesson on, let me come back over here, and hi, I'm back. That is your beginner's lesson on Wi-Fi. You can connect to either cellular or Wi-Fi, and there are quick settings to turn them on and off.
Well, thanks, Chris. That was really good. For my app of the week this week, I'm going to do Swiss Army Knife. It's an app that you can download from the Play Store, and it contains a set of tiny tools, a flashlight, a unit manager, or a unit converter, a timer, a stopwatch, a compass, a bubble level, a calculator, a magnifying glass, which I really used this week for some special thing. I'll tell you about that. A mirror and a ruler. Each tool does what it's supposed to do. There's no space for special effects like 3D and fancy stuff, a talking level, or psychedelic flashlight. The goal is to have a lightweight, fast, and easy-to-use set of tools, and only one tap away from your home screen. And it's nice because it's small. It's like half the size of your standard standalone tools, like a compass or a standalone flashlight. A lot of phones have flashlights now, or even a magnifying glass. So this way, if you only use one, you'll save space on your device, which sometimes you might not have a whole lot of space, and you'll save network consumption too, not only for the first download, but for every update too. It doesn't require network access, permissions to write on your flash memory, and it doesn't need permissions to read all of your contacts. And that is just so cool. So let me get a quick screen share of that.
Or I'm showing it on mine if you...
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Well, let me look at
I
that.
I have a Swiss Army knife too.
Okay, let me switch. There you go. So that's the screen there. And you can set it up to do all sorts of things, and it's just really neat. The magnifying glass is just amazing. A guy was here at the rally, and he needed he was on tech support with his AT&T people, and they wanted him, he was having trouble with his SIM card, so they wanted him to read the SIM card that was in his, have you ever tried to read that stuff? I pulled out this thing with my magnifying glass, I put it behind there, and it was just amazing. He could read it, he read it right off of my screen, and they were able to help him. So I just thought that was one of the coolest things going.
What a great idea.
Okay.
And I, of course, use the bubble level all the time. This is how I just put this on the floor after we park, and Jim is working the levelers, and I can see when we've gotten level.
And it's good for so many applications. So that is my app of the week.
And that's called Swiss Army Knife.
Swiss Army Knife.
And how much does it cost, Jim?
It is free. The Apple version may cost you a little bit, but it's a really nice, lightweight program that you can use. And give it a try. I think you'll like it.
Okay. So now we're ready for your questions.
Okay. Let me put this one up here then. Babette says, are there any significant differences regarding Wi-Fi on Android tablets?
Okay. No. Where's your...
I have it right here, Chris.
Oh, okay.
And it's off.
Okay.
So
I'm going to show you Jim's, what is this? Nexus 7. So this is an Android tablet, and it was completely off, so it's coming on. There's not much difference between the phone and the tablet as far as how to connect. There are differences between the different makes. So the Samsung versus the Motorola versus the HTC, the commands might look a little bit different. They might be in different places, but it's still the same idea. If you know how to get to your system settings, this takes a little while to boot up, huh, Jim?
Yeah, it sure does.
If you know how to...
This is an original Nexus 7.
Yeah, you've had this for 3 years.
Okay. Connie Covemaker says that the Apple version is 99 cents, and I think that's what I thought it was. Thank you, Connie. Appreciate it.
Of Swiss Army Knife.
Swiss Army Knife, yeah.
Okay. And so I still drag down from the top to get to the system settings on this device. All right. I'm not seeing them. It doesn't work because it knows that it's my hands on it rather than Jim's. But
that's a feature of my Nexus 7.
right. He
She
doesn't like it
can't
when I
do
touch
what
his
she wants
devices.
to do there.
But system settings is also always a, oh no, I know what it is. I have to drag down kind of from the right-hand side.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah,
See?
much
Now,
better.
so that's not a difference between the tablet and the phone. That is a difference between the Nexus and the Samsung. So you'd still drag down from the top, but on this one you have to drag down from the right side of the top to get to the system settings. And there's the shortcut setting right there, so I'm just going to use that one. Takes me to Wi-Fi. You'll see the list of possibilities. You'll see which ones are. I have to turn it on first, don't I?
Yeah.
Well, you can see the difference in the older devices and the newer devices. The newer
Yeah, I've
devices are
noticed that
so
mine has
responsive.
really just started to slow down with the last update. So you know what that means? It's time for a new toy.
Yep. You need a new tablet. Robin, you want to just say anything about how often you connect to Wi-Fi versus cellular on your devices?
I'm on Wi-Fi most of the time, unless I'm
Really?
out and about. In the car, obviously it's cellular, but and I use my phone as a hotspot in that circumstance. But we have Wi-Fi just about everywhere, so that's generally what I use. It's handy to have a phone as a hotspot, though, when you need it.
And see, for me, it's just the opposite. I rarely use Wi-Fi because we have an unlimited cell data plan, which we have worked very hard to keep. I'm on cellular all the time, and I just don't have a problem with it. Only if I am out of range. So, for example, a couple of years ago, we took a trip to the Bahamas, last year we took a trip to Bonaire, and there's no Verizon tower there. That's the only time that I need to switch over to Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, and it sounds like you use your phone as your hotspot.
There was a question, a user
yes,
question,
we do.
And how do you silence the camera's shutter on the phone?
Okay, that was something that came up this week. We did a lot of work with the camera part of the phones. So let me move over again. Well, I can just tell you, on the Samsung Galaxy S5, it's not a setting. You just turn your volume down. You just press your volume down button until it goes off. Next time you take a picture, you will not hear the shutter.
That's a good point, but you want to remember to put that volume back up.
Or else you miss your calls.
You don't want to miss any calls. That's great.
Oh, I know one other one we had this week. How do you avoid pocket dialing? Is that embarrassing or what?
Butt dialing, I think it's called.
Butt dialing, yeah. You just call somebody, you have a nice conversation, you're done, you hang up, you put your phone down, and it calls them again. You know, what is up with that? It seems like it happens no matter what, but my recommendation is to get into a habit. When you're done making a call, don't just put your phone down. Number one, always go back to home. Then, these things are so sensitive that just a fly landing on the screen could make a call if it's on the phone app. So number one, go back home. Number two, turn your screen off. Then a fly can't do anything. Then put your phone down. So hang up, go home, turn the screen off.
Okay, good point.
Does that work for you, Robin? Do you ever have that?
I have been known to. Good suggestions.
Yeah, it still might happen. It blows me away how these things can make phone calls all on their own. There is an app. What was it called? Somebody told us about an app, Call Confirm, I think it was called. On the Android, every time you make a call, it won't actually go through until you confirm, yes, I want to make a call. Not available on iPhone.
How about that? Well, that's all good stuff to know. Okay. Wow.
So, any other questions that people ask you all the time, Robin?
It astounds me how often people don't know how to, if they've forgotten to silence their iPhone, they don't know that they can double tap on the sleep wake to send a call right to voicemail.
Oh, okay.
Now, I don't know how you do that on your new Galaxy S5.
On the Galaxy, there's like a little macro thing, which I don't use. You mean I don't use it for phone calls. I
Nobody
use it
calls you?
very little, very
Yeah,
little.
I
But
agree.
so just explain what you just said, how when it's on the lock screen, what do they
On
do to send a call away?
on This is on the iPhone. The sleep wake button
Mm-hmm.
at the top. You just double tap.
I call it the power button. I know it's really the sleep wake, yes?
Power, sleep wake, whatever you want. That button on the top. Just double tap it, and it goes right to voicemail. And then
Cool.
remember to turn it off.
And then remember to turn it off. Okay, just the screen off, you mean? Yeah.
No, if you're in a meeting or whatever and you forgot to turn the ringer off,
Okay.
just remember to pull that little switch down.
That little silence button, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, back to you, Jim.
Back to me. I don't want to be me. I want to be somebody else today, I think.
Don't you have review questions?
Yeah. What are the two ways to connect a smartphone to the internet?
All right, so that's for me.
Yep.
Robin.
Cellular or Wi-Fi.
Cellular or Wi-Fi, exactly.
The Wi-Fi, will your phone use the cellular data?
Okay. If you are connected to Wi-Fi, go ahead, Robin.
If you're connected to Wi-Fi, it will not use your cellular data.
I have been reading some notices on the web, though, that some people think their cellular data is being used even when they're not on Wi-Fi. So if you have any doubts, you can turn off the cellular data. And it may on your phone be called mobile data, but and just remember to turn it back on. But if
Always remember to turn it back on. Okay. Where are the shortcuts to turn Wi-Fi on and off?
It's slightly different on the Apple versus the Android, but it's the same idea. You just slide your finger down from the top on the Android. You slide your finger up from the bottom on the Apple. Both of those reveal the shortcuts.
Great. And what can you use an old smartphone for? I know I use mine for just Pandora a lot of times, so I can have music playing and it's not bothering my regular phone. Chris?
And I've also used mine for Pandora. I've used it for a camera, too.
Sure.
Or for a web browser.
Yeah, that's a great thing. And how about two features of the Swiss Army Knife app?
I said that was yours.
Okay. The two features that I really like are the bubble level, I think, and the magnifying glass. That is just so handy. I used to use the flashlight there all the time, but now my smartphone has a flashlight built in, so that's what I tend to use now. So, did you learn something? Are you going to remember it all? And if you want to learn more, you can become a member at geeksontour.com. Click on the tutorial videos, and you'll get all of the things that you ever want to know about, and it is just so cool. Okay?
Okay.
I think we're about ready to do this thing.
All right. So, but what does this button do?
I'm not sure, but next week we're going to have beginner's lessons on camera basics. I'll have the app of the week. I think next week I'm going to do this field trip app. We'll take your questions, watch for the notification for next week's show, and always click to tell us that you're coming and leave any questions in the comments. What does this button do?
What does this button do, Jim?
Be careful. Don't touch that button. Don't. I can't see what